How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Infinite Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder. To recap, the third game of a four-game set between the Yankees and the Blue Jays last night. Yankees once again fall, losing again, and now we are at a point here where the Yankees had a seven-game lead, and it seemed like the Yankees were going to run away with the AL East, but that is not the case. The Blue Jays and the Yankees are now tied for first place, and if the Yankees lose tonight, which I expect them to, they will be behind the Blue Jays. And you got the Rays right there, too. So the Yankees could fall behind the Rays shortly as well here. So yesterday, very interesting game because it started off as bad as it could possibly get. Will Warren could not get out of the first inning. He gave up 7 runs before he could even blink. And you just thought, yeah, not the Yankees' night. Not the Yankees' night. As you had a big inning from the Blue Jays, and Will Warren has done well outside of that Dodgers start, but this was another game where he didn't have it. Gives up a 2-run single to Alejandro Kirk. And then he gives up a 3-run homer to Addison Barger. And then another homer to Davis Schneider, who homered later in the game, too. That was a big home run for them. That gave the Blue Jays I believe it was their 9th run of the game at that point. That extended the lead back. But yeah, I mean, first 3 batters of the game. Single by Andres Gimenez, George Springer. Then he walks Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It was bad. And the worst part about it is Yankees had a shorthanded bullpen. So they really need Warren to eat up innings. And to give him credit, some credit, he was able to get through the 4th inning, and then the Yankees used Ian Hamilton and Tim Hill and Devin Williams. But Will Warren's ERA is back up over 5. It's 5.02. 8 earned runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, 10 hits. So not great from the young right-hander. However, when it was 8-0, got to 8-0, you just thought, yeah, the Yankees are just going to go down quietly into the night. This is probably going to be the worst, second worst loss of the season in terms of being blown out. Obviously, the Dodgers 18-2 loss, that remains number 1. But to give the Yankees credit, the Yankees did come back. They came back. They put up a 6 spot in the top of the 5th. You got singles from Ben Rice. Well, not Ben Rice, but after Ben Rice. But you had Jason Dominguez leading off with a single, then Anthony Volpe singles, DJ LeMahieu singles, Ben Rice singles as well, and then you have Judge capping off, I believe it was 5 straight hits for the Yankees. That made the score 8-3. Cody Bellinger hits a line out to left field, which I was hoping would drop, but didn't. And then Giancarlo Stanton comes up, and he hits his first homer of the season to cut the lead to 8-6. Cut the deficit to 8-6 off of Jose Barrios, who was cruising through the first 4 innings, but just didn't have it in that 5th inning. So it was 8-6, and I was pumped up. Just because it was giving us something to be excited about, and you started thinking, all right, now momentum has shifted back to the Yankees. Can they complete the job? And then they got another run in the 6th inning. And I believe that was it the 6th inning? It was either the 6th or the 7th inning where Anthony Volpe once again comes up in a big spot and he grounds into a double. Actually, no. He lined out to start off the 6th inning. And then DJ LeMahieu walked. Ben Rice doubled. They intentionally walked Judge. And then Cody Bellinger really hustling down the line. Looked like it was going to be a double play, but because he was hustling so fast, he was able to beat it out. And the Yankees were able to get their 7th run of the game to make it 8-7. Bellinger ended up stealing, but then Stanton flew out. Then we go to the top of the 7th inning. So this is where it happened. So Jazz Chisholm walked, Goldschmidt struck out, then Dominguez singled, and then here comes Anthony Volpe up in a big spot in the top of the 7th. Once again, here it is, Volpe. This is where you could make your mark on the game. And yes, put up a stat that really just goes to show you that we're not crazy, or I'm not crazy. When every time Volpe comes up, it seems like he comes up in a big spot. He has left, going into the at-bat, It went up, of course, after the double play. He has left 149 men on base, which is the second most in baseball behind only Nick Castellanos. And then, surely enough, he hits into a double play. So now it's gone up. He has now left 151 men on base after that double play. So everybody's all over him for that. So Yankees are down 8-7. Then Davis Schneider off of Tim Hill. He gives up a home run to Davis Schneider, his second homer of the game, his third of the season. So he had one homer going into this game last night. So, of course, the Yankees give him a multi-homer game. So the Yankees are down 9-7. And the Yankees emptied the bench. Trent Grisham came up, had a couple of at-bats, so it looks like he's going to he's avoiding the IL, which is good. Don't want to see him go down. But he flies out to Davis Schneider. Then Ben Rice walks. So the Blue Jays have been intentionally walking Judge. Judge is being intentionally walked a lot lately. But the Blue Jays elect to pitch to him. And Judge hits a 2-run homer, his 31st of the season, to tie the game. And the Yankees have come all the way back to tie it. And you're thinking, please win this game. Please. Find a way. So the Yankees go to Devin Williams in the bottom of the 8th inning. He gets Andres Gimenez. He strikes him out. George Springer walks. Springer ends up stealing second. Then they intentionally walk Vladimir Guerrero Jr. They get Alejandro Kirk to fly out deep to center field. I thought that was going out. Stays in the park. And the Blue Jays smartly tag up. Both runners move up. And that became a huge moment because then later in the inning, wild pitch gets past Ben Rice, and Springer ends up scoring, and then Addison Barger singles to make it 11-9. And Yankees had the tying run at the plate with Ben Rice, and he pops out to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and the Yankees lose once again. And once again, Aaron Judge hits this clutch home run that will be forgotten about because the Yankees did not win. Happened a couple of weeks ago in Boston, where he hit that tying home run off of Garrett Crochet. They lost in extra innings. It happened in the championship series against the Guardians last year, where he hit that 2-run homer off of Emmanuel Clase, and then Giancarlo Stanton hit the home run to put them ahead. They tacked on another run, and then Big Christmas hit that ball that's still orbiting around Progressive Field. And then they lost in extra innings on the David Fry walk-off homer. It just seems like lately Judge hits a big home run to tie the game, and they don't win the game, and we forget about it. So for everybody that says Aaron Judge is not clutch, yeah, he's clutch. He's clutch. And I don't know if I saved this one stat that was out there on social media about, game tying and go-ahead home runs for him. But Judge has done it a lot. But lately we just forget about it now because the Yankees don't win the games. And the Yankees, they held a 7-game lead on May 28th, and their lead is gone. It's gone. So the Yankees, they teased us yesterday. They come all the way back, but they don't do enough to put themselves over the top and win the game. They don't. They don't. I mean, it doesn't help that, Will Warren put them behind the 8 ball, literally, giving up 8 runs. Doesn't help. And, Devin Williams, I know some people are blaming him for yesterday. Look, I get it, but are you really going to blame him? I was saying, Devin, please, you've been great recently. I don't want to get on you. And it's just made a bad pitch that Ben Rice couldn't save behind the plate, and Blue Jays scratch across the run to take the lead. There was never really a point where I thought, even when the Yankees came back, there was never really a point where I said they're going to win this game. All the momentum was shifted towards them, and the Blue Jays, give them credit. They didn't blink. They kept playing. Davis Schneider hit the home run to put the lead up by 2, put them back up by 2. 9-7, and then Judge hits the home run, and then they ran the bases well, aggressively. That set up the score on the wild pitch. And then Barger hits a single. I mean, he hit a shot to dead center field. I couldn't believe what I was watching in that first inning. But that's the reality. So Yankees have lost 3 out of 4 here. They continue to lose games against their AL East opponents. I sound like a broken record at this point, but that's just the reality of the situation. So what are they now? 58-71 against their AL East opponents since 2023. That record just keeps getting worse and worse. And like I wanted to come on here and say, hey, they battled back. You'll take that. Like if they won, I would be I would be over the moon right now. Because now it's like, all right, this is what's going to turn the season around. They showed fight. I mean, they came back from 8-0 down. But they just still lost. They still lost the game. So I just still feel empty. And I said as I started this podcast off today, I expect them to lose tonight. I expect them to find a way to lose because that's just what they've been doing as of late, is losing games. So, I don't know. I don't know. And I went on a little bit of a rant to my friends about both New York teams and their struggles. The Mets, they split a doubleheader yesterday with the Brewers. They lose the first game. The second game, they go up 5-0 against the Brewers rookie phenom. They get the win, and I was hoping that the Yankees come back, and now both teams are going to start heading in the right direction. Well, the Mets, after their win yesterday in the second game of the doubleheader, you think that's the case for them, but for the Yankees, it's more of the same, losing games. The defense, key moment there, lost them the game. Pitching let them down. Their starting pitching let them down. Adam Warren let them down. I said Adam Warren. Will Warren. Sorry. Remember Adam Warren? Yeah, but Will Warren let him down yesterday. Anthony Volpe coming up in a big spot. That's not the reason they lost, but again, it's just he comes up in a big spot and he doesn't deliver. And actually, there's a stat out there. There was a tweet out there on X about Volpe when he got hit in the elbow by Walker Buehler. The splits before the injury and after the injury, there's maybe some kind of theory that could be the reason why Volpe is just not producing. And he's also wearing an elbow guard as well. I don't know. I just thought it is interesting. It is an interesting theory, but I don't know. I don't know whether to believe it or not. Because then you could also say, well, that's just an excuse for why he's not playing well. Because if you're playing, there should be no excuses. If you're healthy enough to play, there's no excuses. And that goes for all sports. So, but I just can't believe it. Like, he just comes up in these spots and he just never delivers. He actually hit the ball well at one point yesterday, but Miles Straw made a great play to rob him of an extra base hit. But again, everybody, Anthony Volpe's not going anywhere. He's not. He's the shortstop. There's nobody that's replacing him right now. I'm not putting in Oswald Peraza to start every day. The guy, he really can't hit. If anything, Peraza could play instead of LeMahieu. But speaking of that, I wanted to get into this as well. So, Jazz Chisholm talked about how, he'll play wherever they put him, team player, love that about him. But he also said that he trained this offseason to play second base. The Yankees made it a priority to go out and better themselves defensively because that's what plagued them in the World Series. But now all of a sudden they've kind of backtracked, and now you got Jazz playing out of position at third base, and you got DJ LeMahieu playing second, and everybody and his range is just not there. Balls are getting by him. He could turn the double play, but he can't. He doesn't have the range anymore. Everyone's saying, why is he still playing second and Jazz is playing third? Why can't they flip-flop him? I don't know. I don't know what the explanation is. Boone gave an answer in one of his press conferences that maybe is alluding to a potential switch, but it didn't happen yesterday. I don't expect it to happen tonight. I don't think the lineup's out right now. It actually could be because we're a little over 2 hours before the game starts. Let's see. Is the lineup out for tonight? And the answer is, yeah, it actually is out tonight. So we got Trent Grisham leading off, Ben Rice, Grisham in center, Ben Rice at first, Judge DH, Bellinger right field, Jazz third base again, so no. Dominguez in left field, Volpe shortstop, Wells catching back behind the plate tonight, and Oswald Peraza playing second. I don't, you know what I don't understand? If there's no LeMahieu tonight, then why don't you put Peraza at third and Jazz at second? Because Peraza could play third well, right? I don't know. But the other thing too, it could just be, hey, we're not trying to move Jazz constantly. I know that's been a thing, but I don't know. So the Yankees comeback falls short. I was really hoping it would happen because I was thinking as this comeback was happening right in front of our eyes, I was thinking back to 2012 in Fenway. Yankees went down 9-0. Teixeira hit a couple of homers. Nick Swisher hit a grand slam. And he also had like a bases clearing double, I think, in the game as well. The Yankees ended up winning the game 15-9. So I was saying, hey, it could be like that. No. Now with this Yankee team, they come up just short. And Aaron Judge, again, big home run. 31st of the season. He's got 70 RBIs now. Another home run that's going to get tossed under the rug. Something's got to change, guys. Something. I mean, hopefully you could carry that offensive momentum into tonight's game against Chris Bassett. But Yankees got a lot of problems. Defensively, bullpen. I mean, the Yankees did hit with runners in scoring position last night. But Will Warren and Michael Kay was like, yeah, he just doesn't have it tonight. Or the broadcast, it was either him or Coney. Either way. And they're doing their job. I'm not getting on them, but just hearing that, I'm just like, well, you know what? That's not good enough for me because this team is struggling right now. We need somebody to stop it because our stopper, Max Fried, didn't stop the losing. All right, he didn't put together a good performance the other day, and he's entitled to that because he's been so great. But Will Warren needed to step up, and he didn't. So he's got to get back at it tonight. Hope the Yankees can salvage the final game. And then we'll see what happens when they take on the Metropolitans, which we will get into that tomorrow. I'll do a little bit of a 4th of July preview for the weekend. That is upon us. Excited for that. Well, for the 4th of July, at least. You know, I'm not really excited about the Yankees playing the Mets because now the Yankees are playing against the Mets when they're not playing well. But the Mets are also not playing well. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. But let me know what you guys think about the game last night in the comments. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on all the socials in the description and all that. If you want to listen to us, wherever you get your podcast, you can find us on Infinite Sports, on Spotify, all that jazz. So, as always, I'm your host, Kenneth Gruenfelder, signing off. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. And I will talk to you guys next time. Take care.